But let's take a look. I'm actually on the Make My Trip website right now looking for a flight to go to Goa during the New Year's weekend. And if I wanted one, it would have to share out quite a significant amount of money. Rajesh Magow is now joining in. He's a co-founder and group CEO at Make My Trip. And really, the rates for the New Year are skyrocketing already. If I may, I just want to understand what you would attribute this to. Is this that, year-end wave that's very typical of every year, or are there any other factors that are leading to this?
Yeah, good morning. Good to see that you sort of already looking at planning for your holiday on Make My Trip. So hopefully you'll get the right fare as well. Part of it is, by the way, business as usual. I mean, this is the time when everybody sort of looks to plan for annual holiday. And then there are, long weekends coming. There are actually two long weekends this time around. You have Christmas long weekend and you have New Year long weekend. It's generally speaking, it's a celebration time, and it's the time when it also coincides with the school holidays, etc. as well. So a lot of people actually end up planning for holiday right now, during this time. And Goa happens to be the most popular destination. So I don't think we should read too much into anything more or unusual happening here. A lot of it is actually usual. It happens every year. What might be different this year a little bit on top of it is that the overall sort of consumer sentiment for travel is bullish, and more so post the World Cup euphoria. A lot of the season which we typically have between October to December, the first half of that season was all World Cup, and we were getting the upsides on World Cup destinations, although limited, because wherever India was featuring in the game, that you would see the upside on those particular destinations. But outside of that, on the weekends, everybody else was sort of on the TV, watching the matches over the weekend at home as well. Now that has changed significantly. Now suddenly, the momentum has picked up in terms of just the leisure planning, just taking a break, just doing your annual leave, celebration, and so on. So because of that, there will be more rush. We have seen that happening on our platform. Bookings, growing. Even this like-to-like comparison, if you do it with the last year, good about 20% for the same sort of booking window. Let's say from 15 December to 31st December. So that might be the new thing that is sort of adding to the momentum. Otherwise, it is a regular season.
How does your business model work? I mean, higher prices means more spreads for you, or you will get fixed spreads irrespective of the pricing?
So good question, Nikun. It actually varies from which segment of our business that you typically look at. So if you look at on the hotel side, it will be linked to the pricing. So it will be our sort of margin will be directly function of the pricing as well. But if you look at the flights business specifically for domestic, actually even for international flights, a large part of that could be a fixed fee. So it doesn't really, so for flights, part of our business, which is good about 40% of our business, will be volume linked, and another 50-60% of our business will be value linked.
As more and more competitive intensity increases in this space, as more and more AI tools they kick in, what would be your mode? Because ultimately your whole interface is AI driven, customer interface, and pricing, which is perhaps a function of the credit card or perhaps the backend deals you have. But AI in a sense could really bulldoze everything.
Yeah, no, I think it's an interesting observation, and I think we should look at it not necessarily, when it comes to AI and the implication of AI and the use cases that will impact, not necessarily at the 30,000 feet level. We should go deeper, and which is what we've been doing. So our model is actually tech-enabled at the core. So every new technology, we are always, at least try to be always sort of ahead of the curve in terms of just leveraging the new technology that would be coming in. And specifically on AI, for instance, that we've already sort of, implemented about 3 or 4 use cases to enhance the customer experience significantly. So I would say, any technology, over the years, there have been many, many new technologies that have been coming in. And for a technology-led business, it's always good to be sort of, see that coming early and then invest behind that and fundamentally try to enhance customer experience. Some of these technologies would also give you productivity gains at the back end, but that's not necessarily the prime gain. The prime gain comes from the what you are able to do it to make customers' life easier, whether it's a personalized experience, as you were mentioning about it, or it is just to, take the customization of the experience to a different level, or improve, let's say, the after-sale experience for the customer. Or just to improve the content that you sort of render to the customer, which helps on the customer journey. The customer can take the decision which is far more informed, and so on. And that has been the focus. And one important thing that I think, which is very sort of critical to also link it with the AI technology or machine learning for that matter, is the data underneath. So the data is the one that is sort of making all of this happening, right? So this is the layer on top of it, but what you end up sort of using and leveraging is the rich data, and based on and leveraging data science and engineering, you build those models, and then you apply artificial intelligence and now generative artificial intelligence to get the best possible sort of result for the customer. So that is what it is. It is going to be at the helm, but I think the key will be how best you sort of pick up the use cases and then leverage this technology to improve the customer experience more than anything else.
Rajesh, I think what anyone wants to know right now is whether there is a cheat sheet or a trick code to beat AI and get the cheapest tickets on MMT.
I know. Well, I wish I could sort of say that, we end up sort of controlling the price. Eventually, the price has to come from all our partners as well. But I'm sure you would be able to sort of, if there is a little bit of a flexibility and you're not necessarily rushing in to only catch the same long weekend that everyone else is catching, I'm sure you'll get the good deals. And, and if I may sort of add, what interesting thing that we have also picked up this season, because as you would probably recall, that a lot of the travel was happening in the domestic market. It was mostly India travel because, historically we were going through COVID, and international, there were many teething issues, visa-related issues, and the fares, etc. And now that market is also opening up hugely as well. Thailand announced the ease of visa for Indians. Even Malaysia announced it. Now a lot of that is getting picked up by the customers, and then people are just now sort of getting more bullish about international travel. So this season we will see a lot of international travel picking up as well.
I'm going to also encourage Mayur Milak to join in to take this conversation forward. So Mayur, let's look at this question purely from a standpoint of somebody who wants to say, okay, I went on a booking portal and prices have been exorbitant. I went on a hotel website, prices were sky high. Now, as a customer, I may be feeling a pinch, but as an investor, is it time to, let's say, buy some of these travel platform companies, aviation stocks or hotel stocks? Mayur.
Yeah, hi, morning. Yeah, so clearly yes, Q3 any which is one of the best quarter for the aviation industry. If I look at an Indigo, so we've just seen the correction in ATF beginning of December as well. So now if I just compare this quarter's fuel cost vis-a-vis the earlier quarter, you're up by about 10% maybe, but your fares are up almost by 20%. So it clearly gives you a very strong edge on profitability. And I think with the kind of scenario pricing power that these guys are sitting on at this point, clearly a very strong buy.
Okay. Mayur, the conversation what we are having is that, look, this is nothing unusual about this holiday season. It is pure demand dynamics which happens every year. It's just that when they stare at you, you think it is something different. So my question is that for somebody who's watching the show, is it time, let's say buy an aviation stock or a hotel company or a hotel stock? Because that's how you try to connect dots. Mayur?
Yeah. So yes, so we have our official coverage on Interglobe Aviation. We have a buy rating with a target price of 4,000. We clearly think this is a great time for the aviation industry to make money. You've seen a very strong correction into crude prices. Clearly, will reflect into profitability going forward. And the demand has been very steady. We are still doing almost 4 lakh plus passengers on a daily basis. So demand has not been disrupted despite the increase in fare prices. And these guys have not reduced anything, despite significant correction into the crude prices. So clearly, profitability will be very high. Yes.
Rajesh, lastly, I want to ask you, besides Goa, which we fleetingly discussed, what are the top 3 destinations, domestic ones, of course, that everyone's been queuing up for?
Yeah. No, I think it's a great question as well. So Goa, of course, remains the hottest, especially during December season. But there are many, many others. Actually, it's not only Goa, and that is one of the sort of emerging trends as well, that people are very willing to sort of explore new destinations and not necessarily keep going back to the same destination. And in comparison to, let's say, your Manali or the Nainitals or the Srinagar or Goa, and these are all usual destinations. People who want to go and watch the snow, they would go to the hills. But within the hills, then the people are also preferring a lot of the exploring the Uttarakhand side of hills as well. And down south, by the way, there's Cochin and Coorg, which are very popular as well. And on the east side is Darjeeling, that is also very popular as well. So it's actually it's a very good spread that we are seeing. A lot more exploration of the destination and the newer destination that are sort of getting more share. And then maybe because of the fact that, if the repeat travel is happening and people would have visited, the main destinations already, and therefore they want to explore. But we do see, different cohorts, with the young cohorts or the youngsters or the millennials, etc., more willing to just completely explore unexplored destinations. So very sort of widespread, I would say. Even Pondicherry, Mysore, Udupi, Gangtok, etc., are also sort of featuring in when we look at the overall bookings on us.
All right. Rajesh, really appreciate your time. So glad you could join us. And it's December first week. We'll perhaps connect with you a little later to understand that, has the pecking order changed really in terms of December 2023?